What's going on? This is the day traders versus the midweek review. Nobody showed up today, so this will probably be a short session. I'm just gonna go through the charts and go through the setups for this week and what has transpired so far. Looking at the dollar chart, uh, we kind of pretty much ran through our setups that we were looking for on dollar. Let me pull it up real quick. So this was Sunday, and the logic was that if we trade into this fair value gap, we would sell off to take out this low and eventually take out these previous week lows, which are acting as liquidity inside of this fair value gap. And on the 0 to 1 move, we would have the move down roughly right around the top of this fair value gap. But Um, if we were to get a 1 to 2 move on the upside, that could set up the continuation down further. Um, that's the move we took. We did move into this fair value gap, which was the 1 to 2 move actually, and then it rejected. So we never got the upside move. And I'll go over that with you on the charts real quick. So let me get this. So as you can see on dollar, we ended up trading into that fair value gap. This move right here was our 0 to 1. This move right here was our 1 to 2. And then this was our 2 to 3 to go down into this. And we took out all of the liquidity that we made here, and then the new short-term liquidity that we made over here. So we pretty much have done what the expectations are for the week on the downside, but it looks like we may want to target this previous week low at potentially. We also have an order block right below that low and a little small fair value gap that we could be going into as well. So there's still some downside target. So if we do push up, we got to deal with this 4 hour fair value gap that we just left behind. Um, Let me record this. So if we push down on dollar, we have our 0 to 1 move that should take us down into this previous week low. The previous week low, if we take it out, that means we'll be trading near this previous week low, and we could possibly trade down into this order block that we have right here. Um, and then we can see bounces at this previous week low and at the order block. So if we do get an upside move from after we sell off, it'll come around our 0 to 1 or our 2 to 3, where we would get our 1 to 2 bounce or our 3 to 4 bounce. If not, if we keep trading further after we take out the previous week low and the order block, that means we stand a chance of trading down into this daily or monthly price gap um, that is near 97.995. If we do push up, like we've opened up right now, we'll need to deal with this now inverted fair value gap from the 4 hour chart. And then we also left a bearish fair value gap inside of the move that we made to the downside. If we were to push up and push higher, we would trade through the both of the fair value gaps, and then we would see those used as support. If we were to get to any higher than that, I could see us coming into this new day opening gap that we have right around 99.282. And then from there, that'll determine whether or not we were to keep it going higher or maybe we get some rejection from there. We are going into the end of the week, so where we have a couple things still on the docket for this week, and I'll go over that after I post the setups for dollar, which we can go ahead and do now. So that's DXY. As far as the just keeping an eye on the Fed rate watch, the Fed rate watch tool from CME. Let's hit a refresh on this. Pretty much 90% chance that we get a rate cut of a 25 basis point. So that pretty much lines up with us possibly pushing higher. We will need to definitely consider how that trades the rest of the day. So we had non-farm payroll. I'm sorry, ADP non-farm payroll. We were down. Our previous was 47K. The forecast was 5,000 jobs. We ended up being negative 32,000. So that kind of leaned towards us getting a rate cut. So that's why that negative news, which you would think that would cause us to sell off even more, ended up making us push higher because that lines up with us getting the rate cut even higher. So we did pretty much what we were expecting on the PMI. That also probably helped the move push higher on the indices today. And then we had Trump speaking. I haven't had a chance to kind of review what Trump spoke about. It didn't really seem like it had a lot to do with the market. So we will have to see if there are any leeway from what he spoke about earlier. Let's take a look in here. Trump, the U.S. to authorize production of ultra compact cars. Okay. Trump makes announcement. Nothing too big that's stand out. And then tomorrow, we have unemployment claims. The expectations are 219,000. That could probably be higher. And then we also have the Challenger job cut, not something I really trade much, but definitely keep your eye on the 830 unemployment claims. Then on Friday, we have PCE. That is a very important news release. Feds use that to gauge their determine whether or not they're going to cut rates. But and then we have consumer sentiment and inflation expectation. Consumer sentiment is around 50% or 52 is the expectation. Our last was the forecast was 53. We missed. I'm kind of leaning towards us missing this 52, but I won't really go over it. If you are listening in right now, Sunday, we won't have a call. I'll probably do a video just like I'm doing now, but I'll probably do the video on Saturday and release it on Sunday at the same time. So you could be looking out for that. And then I'll go over what to look for next week. The biggest thing about next week we'll have to consider is we do have the Fed interest rate release on the 10th. So we'll need to keep an eye on that. And that's probably why we had a lot of stagnant price action for this week. As far as option plays, not anything on the radar right now, but we did have Macy's. They beat. We have, I do know that they beat. I'll have to check on the rest. And then going into next week, the next couple of days, um, and after hours today, we have Salesforce, Snowflake, uh, C3, Path, and then we'll need to check out for a couple of banks. HP is one. We'll need to be listening out for AI related, see what they're going to do, because that'll probably be the biggest topic of their discussion. And then only a couple little small things on Friday, so not much left for options or anything related to stocks this week. So we've gotten dollar. Gold, I'm gonna probably have to give the gold charts on the on the Sunday call. We've moved contracts and I haven't had a chance to mark up gold contracts. And I want to make sure that I'm reading everything the right way, but it's still going to be in line with this because the structure should be similar. Let's actually just take a look at it really quick. It's going to be the 2026 February contract. There's a February 2026 contract. Oops, not the continuous. We'll look at it. The February contract. And yep, it's pretty much similar. Structure's all the same. The order block I'm expecting us to come into here, fair value gap that we're trying to deal with right now, that little price gap right here, and we just wicked into a bullish fair value gap. So that'll be what we need to look out for. But I'm gonna clean this up and I'll make an update on this chart for Sunday, and we won't look for any trades on gold we get the until I mark up the new contract. YM or Dow Jones. Let's look at the setup. Let me turn on this. So YM on Dow Jones, we had the price pretty much coming into the daily fair value gap. And with the daily fair value gap, we were expecting that we would have some reaction off of this daily fair value gap. And let's look at the chart from Sunday. On Sunday's chart, we had price pushing down and likely coming into this fair value gap from the 4 hour, uh, and then possibly bouncing from there. If we pushed up to the upside, we would hold inside of the range, push up outside of this daily fair value gap, this daily bearish fair value gap, and then use that to push up higher. So far for the week, however, we pretty much stayed right at the low to middle of that daily bearish fair value gap. And then we did make our 0 to 1 move, but we didn't reach that bullish fair value gap on the 4 hour. And instead of us reaching that, we kind of just hung around uh near the low of the week and then shot up to go back into the daily bearish fair value gap. And we finally traded through that. So now that we've done so, I would look for us to use the daily bullish, the daily bearish fair value gap, use that daily bearish fair value gap to hold us up higher. And if we do trade down into it, I can see us coming down into the middle of the daily bearish fair value gap because we've pretty much almost pierced the high. We pretty much pierced the high, and this may be ready to use for a swing to the upside. We have pretty much inverted it, but I'm still going to consider it bearish for now until we get a full trade outside of it. We've kind of wicked it and then traded back into the body of it. So our 0 to 1 move could likely still come down into the bearish fair value gap where I can see us holding, preferably around the middle of the daily bearish fair value gap or the low of the daily bearish fair value gap, which the low sits near the weekly and monthly opening price. So that is a level we want to kind of pay attention to. And if we do that, we can get our 1 to 2 bounce to continue us higher from there. I'm not really seeing us get this 2 to 3 move to the downside to continue and finally take out that 4 hour bullish fair value gap. But if we do, that's still there. We'll just need to watch out for it. So I'm looking at us to either make this 0 to 1 move to the downside inside of the daily bearish fair value gap and hold and then push up, Or we go ahead and make the 0 to 1 move on the bullish side and then look to go ahead and take out the all-time high and trade higher with a target on the upside of right around 49,200 and 49,200 area, pretty much. Um, Let me go ahead and give you guys Dow. Okay. All right. And let's look at NASDAQ. Okay. NASDAQ, again, similar to what we had with Dow. Uh, let's pull up the chart on that one. This was the Dow chart. Let's pull up the NASDAQ chart. Okay. So Sunday, our expectation was to push and hold through this daily bearish fair value gap and then use that to go ahead and look for us to reach this small time frame 4 hour bearish fair value gap and then likely take out the previous week high, take out these equal highs over here, and then trade up into the higher bearish fair value gap near the monthly opening price. So far, uh, it, so far we actually made the 0 to 1 move to the downside. There's a small order block right here on the 4 hour that I don't have drawn out, but it's right around the 0 to 1 low that we made. And that was pretty much the low of the week so far. And then we kind of hung around inside of this bearish daily fair value gap, and we've just held price within that range. So they're holding price, accumulating orders right now inside of the indices on all fronts. So um, we finally end up breaking above that to take out the last week's high. And then we use the high of that bearish daily fair value gap to push us higher. So we've come into this 4 hour bearish fair value gap and kind of tapped the low. We're still in a place where we could also come back down into the daily bearish fair value gap that we've traded through that's now inverted and then use that as support. We've already traded off the high of that, so it's already telltale signs that it's possibly using that. But then, if we do that, our 0 to 1 trades us back through into the daily bearish fair value gap and confirms our inversion, which we already have done so, and likely takes the liquidity that's sitting right above the middle of the daily bearish fair value gap that's inverted now. If we do that, our 0 to 1 holds around the middle, and then we get a bounce likely off of the 1 to 2 move that takes us higher into the higher time frame targets, which is my main target is the daily bearish fair value gap that we have above the one we're trading in right now. That's near the previous week high. And then in that case as well, we go ahead and make our bullish move to the upside. If we go ahead and open up to the upside and we push higher immediately or overnight, that means we're going to make our 0 to 1 move through this 4 hour bearish fair value gap that we're pretty much sitting right below right now. And if we do trade through that, we use that as a new support level after we invert it to go higher. And then we go ahead and take out the previous week high and trade into the overall target that I'm looking for this week, which is the daily bearish fair value gap. That's at 25,878.50, which is the daily fair value gap low. And if we can continue to go higher, we trade through that. And then we do have previous day highs and equal highs right above that. And then on the all-time high. Let me give you the NAS chart. This is going to be for the rest of the week. NAS. And then finally, we can go to S&P. On S&P, let's open up the previous day's chart. Let's open up the Sunday chart for S&P. So similar to what we had on Dow and NASDAQ already, right? You see the recurring theme is we have already inverted this daily fair value gap, right? We traded through it and we've held near the high, right? This is the previous week high. So either we do a bullish move to continue higher through the monthly open for a 0 to 1 move through the monthly open, previous week high, or previous day high. Or we have a bearish move to the downside where our 0 to 1 takes us to through these lows as liquidity. There's a 4 hour fair value gap, small one that we have here, and that sets our low for our 0 to 1 move. And if we're bearish, we go ahead and get our 1 to 2 retracement inside of the bearish fair value gap that was inverted on the daily. And then we trade lower on a 2 to 3 move to get down into this bullish fair value gap from the 4 hour. We never did that. We sold off to make our 0 to 1 move, and then we held inside of the daily inverted fair value gap. And then we pretty much settled right near the high. So we'll go ahead and look what our expectations are for this week. So that was that move to the downside, the 0 to 1. It held in this area at the 4 hour fair value gap, the 4 hour order block near the daily inverted fair value gap low, right? So now again, we're in a similar situation. We've closed above the high of the inverted daily fair value gap now. If we do sell off, our 0 to 1 move should take us somewhere at or around the daily inverted fair value gap middle, or possibly even the low. And if we are still bullish, we get a bounce at one of those points, either the daily inverted fair value gap middle or its low. And then we push up. I think that would give us a bullish move to the upside, and we can go ahead and target our same highs for our bullish move. If we do sell off, we can see that our 0 to 1 has a move to the downside, and then we get our 2 to 3 retracement somewhere around at or around the midpoint of the daily bearish fair value gap. And that takes us outside of this and takes the liquidity that we've raised throughout the rest of the week so far. And take that liquidity and then possibly come down into the 4 hour bullish fair value gap. If we stay to the upside for a move on the long side, our 0 to 1 should take us through the highs we made this week, and then into our previous week high. And then we should get a fair value gap between our 0 to 1 move that we could use for a 1 to 2 retracement into, and get our 2 to 3 leg to continue to the upside through the previous week high, previous day high, and eventually an all-time high, where I'm looking at us coming to the 69.90 area or 7,000 price point. and that'll be a first time that we've reached that. So that lines up with what's going on with the Dow. Dow is coming in on a trade that is the closest to taking out the all-time high, so the rest should follow after that. Let me go ahead and give you guys S&P. And since nobody's on today, I'm gonna go ahead and end it early. But if you're listening in tonight, I appreciate you listening in, man. It's great that somebody is, putting that extra effort in, and it, you know, just reminds me, to keep pushing, even if nobody show up. I'm still here. I got a goal I have that I want to complete, and regardless of who's listening in or not, the goal is the goal. I do this for you guys. I do this for myself as well, and I'm gonna keep pushing because I know what I have in store with this, and I hope you do as well. So I'll catch you guys on in the chat. I'm gonna throw all this in the chat and I'll upload the video a little later on. Have a good night, guys. Later.